right, welcome everyone to another deep dive. Today we're tackling a really interesting topic, AI agents.
That's right. We're moving beyond just the idea AI as a co-pilot.
Exactly. Not just chatbots giving suggestions, but AI that can actually do things for you, take action.
Yeah, and this is becoming very real, very fast.
So for this dive, we've pulled together quite a bit, industry forecasts, big tech announcements, some real business case studies.
And also insights from experts, like discussions at the recent RSA conference. Lots to unpack.
Definitely. And our goal really is to help you, our listeners, cut through all the hype.
To understand the actual impact, the key shifts happening right now with these AI agents.
So you can grasp what's truly significant without getting bogged down in, super technical jargon. We'll try to keep it clear.
Okay, so first off, maybe we should clarify this core idea, the shift from co-pilot to agent.
Good starting point. What's the key difference?
Well, think of a co-pilot like an assistant. It helps you with tasks, drafting text, finding info, that kind of thing. It assists the human.
Right, like Microsoft Copilot or GitHub Copilot helping programmers.
Exactly. Now, an agent has more autonomy. It can understand a goal, plan the steps, and actually execute those steps, often using different tools or applications.
So less like a helpful navigator, more like, like an autopilot system that can actually fly the plane once you set the destination.
That's a pretty good analogy, yeah. It's about taking independent action towards a goal.
And you mentioned this is happening fast. The adoption speed seems pretty aggressive.
It really is. There's a Deloitte prediction that among companies already using generative AI, 0.25% are expected to start proof of concepts, POCs, for agents in 2025, just next year.
Okay, 1 in 4.
And that jumps to 50%, half of them by 2027.
Wow, that's a huge leap in just 2 years. What's driving that speed?
A big factor is multimodality. AI agents are getting much better at understanding and working with different types of information simultaneously.
Not just text, you mean?
Exactly. Voice, images, video, code, text, all processed together, often in real time.
Like the OpenAI GPT-4 demos we saw, that real-time voice conversation.
Precisely. The response time was incredibly low, something like 232 milliseconds on average in those demos, almost human-like interaction speed.
And Google's Project Astra, too, right? Using a phone's camera to understand the world visually and talk about it.
Yes, that's another great example. Understanding context through vision and sound and conversing naturally about it. It really broadens what an agent can potentially do.
It feels less like interacting with a computer and more like collaborating with something that perceives the world a bit like we do.
Sort of. And another piece of this puzzle is where the AI runs. It's not all going to be in the cloud.
Ah, so AI on the device itself, on our phones and laptops.
Increasingly, yes. Forecasts suggest by 2025, about 30% of new smartphones and maybe 50% of new laptops will have dedicated AI capabilities built in.
What does that mean for us, practically? Faster responses, offline use?
Both of those, potentially. Plus, maybe better privacy in some cases. Since data doesn't always have to leave your device, it just opens up more possibilities for how AI integrates into our daily tools.
Okay, so faster, more capable, multimodal AI running locally. But this brings up another point you mentioned, governance.
Absolutely crucial. As these agents become more common, we'll have potentially millions, maybe billions, of these non-human IDs interacting with systems.
Non-human IDs? You mean the AI agents themselves?
Yes. And this was a big topic at RSA conference. How do you manage permissions for these agents? How do you track what they do? Who's accountable?
Right. If an AI agent makes a mistake or accesses something it shouldn't, you need an audit trail. You need controls.
Exactly. It's about establishing clear rules, permissions, logging basically, and identity and access management framework, but specifically for AI agents. Agent IAM, they're starting to call it.
Okay, that makes sense. There's a whole new category of user to manage. So that's the macro picture. Let's shift gears a bit. Are companies actually using these agents now and seeing results, or is it still mostly theoretical?
Oh, it's definitely moving beyond theory. We're seeing tangible results already across different industries.
Okay, like where? Give us some examples.
Well, take retail and e-commerce. H&M, for instance.
The clothing brand?
Yeah. They've been using AI to generate digital twin models for advertising.
So AI created models instead of real photo shoots.
Pretty much. And the reported impact was significant. A 40% reduction in advertising production costs.
40%? That's huge.
It made their A/B testing 4 times faster because they could generate variation so quickly.
Wow. Okay, that changes the game for marketing content. What else?
Look at Klarna, the financial services company. They rolled out an OpenAI-powered chatbot for customer service.
I remember hearing about this. What were the numbers?
In the first month, it handled 2.3 million customer inquiries. That's 2/3, 66% of their total volume.
2/3, automatically.
Yes. They calculated it was doing the equivalent work of 700 full-time human agents.
Incredible. And did it actually resolve issues faster?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
The average resolution time dropped from 11 minutes down to just 2 minutes.
Okay, that's a massive efficiency gain.
And it also led to a 25% decrease in repeat inquiries, suggesting the answers were actually effective.
So better and faster customer service driven by AI. Another example.
Lyst, the fashion e-commerce platform. They used AI for enhanced personalization and reported a 20% increase in conversion rates. More people buying stuff because the recommendations were better.
Makes sense. Personalization is key there. How about outside of retail? Finance.
Yep. Goldman Sachs deployed an internal tool, the GS AI Assistant, to around 10,000 employees.
For what purpose?
Primarily helping with software development tasks initially. They reported a 20% reduction in development time for those using it.
So speeding up their internal tech development. Interesting. Manufacturing.
Right.
Supply chain.
Siemens has a system called Sensei. It uses AI for predictive maintenance on industrial equipment.
Predicting failures before they happen.
Exactly. And the results are pretty compelling.
Yeah.
Up to 50% reduction in unplanned downtime and a 40% reduction in maintenance costs.
Preventing problems instead of just fixing them, that's a big deal in manufacturing. What about healthcare? That seems like a sensitive area.
It is, but there are applications emerging. Babylon Health reported 85% accuracy for AI used in initial triage sorting patients based on urgency.
Okay, assisting with that initial assessment.
And look at the Permanente Medical Group, TPMG. They implemented AI scribes.
AI listening to doctor-patient conversations and drafting notes.
Yes. This reportedly saved doctors about an hour of keyboard work per day on average.
An hour a day?
Yeah.
That adds up.
It does. They calculated it freed up nearly 1,800 workdays per year across the group, like having 5 extra full-time staff just from that time saved.
And I imagine that helps with doctor burnout.
Seems so. One study they mentioned showed a 60% reduction in reported burnout symptoms in primary care, where AI scribes were used.
That's potentially transformative for healthcare professionals. One more software development itself. We mentioned Goldman Sachs, but more broadly.
GitHub Copilot is the big one there. Large-scale studies consistently show it reduces development time, often cited around 20% or more, and developers generally report higher satisfaction when using it.
So across the board, retail, finance, manufacturing, healthcare, software, these agents are already delivering measurable value, efficiency, cost savings, speed, even well-being.
That's the picture emerging, yes. It's not just hype anymore.
Okay, so given these trends and these real-world results, what should businesses or even individuals be thinking about now? What actions should they consider?
Well, a foundational piece is data integration and API access. AI agents need data, and they need ways to interact with other systems' tools.
Tools as verbs, making functionalities accessible to the AI.
Exactly. You need to make your data and your internal applications usable by these agents. There's a Snowflake study showing that 92% of early generative AI adopters saw a return on investment.
92%, that's high.
It is. And the average ROI was 1.41x. It really underscores that getting the data infrastructure right is key to getting value from these AI systems.
So unlock your data, make your tools callable via APIs. What else?
Building in-house expertise in actually connecting these things. Understanding tools like LangChain or using frameworks like OpenAI Actions to bridge the gap between the AI models and your specific business processes.
Like the Goldman Sachs banker Copilot example you mentioned, analyzing SEC documents, that requires connecting the AI to those specific data sources and workflows.
Precisely. It's about orchestrating the AI with your existing systems, and that requires skills.
And then there's the governance piece we talked about earlier, standardizing that.
Yes, absolutely critical. Managing those non-human IDs, the agents. This means thinking about their life cycle, limiting their scope of permissions, and having robust logging and auditing. The agent IAM concept.
You can't just let loose thousands of autonomous agents without controls.
Definitely not. It needs careful planning and management from an IT and security perspective.
What about getting started? It sounds complex. Should companies go all in?
Probably not all in immediately. The advice is usually to start with small-scale proof of concepts, PEMPLs.
Pilot projects.
Exactly. Pick a specific problem, build a focused agent solution, and crucially, define clear, key performance indicators, KPIs, to measure the impact.
Like Klarna did with their FAQ chatbot. They built it quickly and proved the ROI before scaling.
That's a perfect example. Build it in, say, 4 weeks, test it, see if it works and delivers value, then decide on a wider rollout. It minimizes risk and builds momentum.
Okay, start small, measure, iterate. That makes sense. What about the people side, the workforce?
This is huge. Reskilling is essential. The entire workforce, arguably, needs to learn how to work with these agents.
Not just the tech teams.
No, everyone. People need skills in prompt engineering, how to instruct the AI effectively. They also need to learn how to verify the AI's output to critically evaluate what it produces.
AI literacy for everyone, basically.
You could call it that. And companies leading the way are investing in this. Deloitte found that 78% of companies seeing significant success with Gen AI mandate at least 20 hours of AI-related training per employee annually.
20 hours a year minimum. That shows a real commitment.
It does, because ultimately the agents are tools, and people need to know how to wield them effectively and responsibly.
Okay, so summing up, the era of AI agents, AI that can do things autonomously, isn't just on the horizon, it's starting to arrive now.
Right, and it has the potential to really fundamentally change how we work, how businesses operate, how we interact with technology daily.
We've seen the macro trends, multimodality, on-device AI, the governance challenge, and the concrete results already happening across industries. Plus, some clear actions to take now.
It's moving fast, and the impact seems likely to be widespread.
So to leave our listeners with something to think about, considering everything we've discussed today, these trends, these examples, what tasks in your own work or even your daily life do you think could be most effectively handled by an AI agent in the near future?
And thinking beyond just efficiency, what new possibilities might that open up for you if those tasks were automated or handled differently? Something to mull over.
Definitely food for thought. That's all the time we have for this deep dive.
If you enjoyed this discussion and found it valuable, please do consider subscribing and leaving us a rating or review. It really helps others find the show.